Will the sequel trilogy be retconned? Or is there a way to fix this disaster of a trilogy? Wait, before you say yes or no, hear me out. After the finale of the Ahsoka show setting up a canon version of the Heir to the Empire trilogy, with Thrawn coming into Dathomir ready to take over the entire galaxy, and the ending of the show setting up a greater threat on Peridia, possibly Abeloth, is all this an attempt to retcon their own trilogy or to build up the foundation around the trilogy, fixing many of the problems? Because it goes without saying, the sequel trilogy completely splits the Star Wars fandom down the middle. So is a canon version of Heir to the Empire and setting up the Mortis gods with Abeloth all an attempt to retcon the sequels? Or are they making better content around the trilogy to put out the flames? Well, stick around till the end of this video to hear why I believe they will never retcon this trilogy, but the plan that Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau have in store for us could make this dark cloud looming over Disney's trilogy go away for some fans. So smash a like on this video and let's break this all down. The sequel trilogy, the shakiest topic when it comes to the galaxy far, far away. Most people coming into this video already have their own very strong opinions when it comes to the sequel trilogy. They either love it or they absolutely hate it. But I'm willing to have an open mind and be open to any possibilities of fixing this disaster. So let's start with why the sequels will never be retconned. These movies made Disney billions of dollars. And since their release, they have continued to make billions upon billions of dollars off of this franchise. And now we're 4 years out since the last sequel movie, and they're still making billions of dollars every year on merchandising and these characters that they created. Also, no other Star Wars movie has ever been retconned, and Disney is definitely not going to be the first one to admit their mistakes and retcon their own trilogy. And if that's not enough, earlier this year in April at Star Wars Celebration, there was 3 movies announced, and one of them was a Rey movie that will follow Rey as she creates her own new Jedi Order. So yeah, the hopes and dreams of this trilogy being retconned are all but dead. But hey,
never tell me the odds.
Now this may sound impossible for a lot of you, but there are ways to make this dreaded trilogy better.
Dread it, run from it, destiny arrives all the same.
The Force Awakens. Let me copy your homework, but just change a few answers. Many fans just see this movie as a ripoff of A New Hope. And let's be honest, they have a point. The main character who's introduced lives on a desert planet. That character then gets thrown into this galactic war, another villain with a mask on, and a planet-killing weapon. However, I still believe that The Force Awakens is a good movie. It definitely starts the trilogy off on the right track, with cool mysteries of like what the hell happened with Leia and Han, where the hell is Luke Skywalker, who is this Rey character, also just cool characters, Poe Dameron, Finn, Kylo Ren, and don't even get me started on Snoke. But sadly, the next 2 movies in the trilogy, The Last Jedi and The Rise of Skywalker, took all of those mysteries and destroyed them in the worst possible way. So how would fixing this trilogy even be possible? Well, I believe that there are 3 key things that need to be explained or at least developed more before the sequel trilogy that will make it 10 times better. And those 3 things are Ben Solo's fall to the dark side, Luke Skywalker being the old hermit that we see in The Last Jedi, abandoning his entire character arc that we remember, and of course, somehow Palpatine returned. So let's start at the top of the list. Number 1, Ben Solo's fall to the dark side. The sequel trilogy made it seem like he just had a few bad dreams, and that was it. Boom, a bad guy who killed all the Jedi that he grew up with and trained. Ben Solo's fall needs to be explored just as much, if not more, than Anakin Skywalker's fall. We get the entire prequel trilogy and 7 seasons of the Clone Wars to see Anakin Skywalker's fall to the dark side. For Kylo Ren, we get nothing. No movies, no shows, no nothing. Anakin, we get to see his distrust with the Jedi Order. His master, Obi-Wan, is more of a friend than a mentor. And even his own Padawan, Ahsoka Tano, left the Jedi Order because of how she distrusted it. Not to mention Palpatine's pull on Anakin to the dark side. A million different things were shown to us in the prequels and the Clone Wars that showed Anakin's fall to the dark side. We have none of that right now for Ben Solo. And honestly, his fall to the dark side right now looks really stupid. But if we were to get this entire story fleshed out, because let's be honest, almost everybody's favorite character from the sequel trilogy is Kylo Ren. Adam Driver's performance is incredible, but he's also just a cool-ass character. It's the same reason everybody loves Anakin Skywalker. So if Ben Solo's fall to the dark side is explored a lot more and really fleshed out in this Mandoverse era, a plan could definitely be in place to make Ben Solo the next Anakin Skywalker. Not only helping elevate the character of Kylo Ren and Ben Solo, but also making The Last Jedi a million times better by explaining what really happened at this Jedi temple. Which brings us perfectly to the second thing that needs to be explained. Luke Skywalker becoming an old hermit on Ahch-To. Right now, the explanation for Luke being on this planet is because Ben had a bad dream. And just because of a few bad dreams, Luke tried to kill his own nephew. Instead of trying to fix his mistake, stay back, and help his sister and his best friend fight against this new empire, he says, nah, I'ma head out, and goes to Ahch-To and just stays there, cutting himself off from the Force and becoming useless. This is so far removed from the character that we remember from the original trilogy, the kid who would do anything to save his father because he knows that there is light still inside of him. This is almost the exact opposite character, where he sees a little bit of dark in his nephew and tries to kill him. However, if there is a real reason for Luke going into hiding, not this stupid thing of his nephew having a bad dream, if there was something that physically made Luke have to go into hiding to save the entire galaxy, maybe, just maybe, if there was a new green character who looked like an old green character that we knew, and that character's blood was taken by the bad guys, and the bad guys created Force-sensitive clones from said blood, and this setup took years and multiple seasons of a show, all to explain that these bad guys got Luke Skywalker's blood as well, and this would be really bad. In Legends, there is a character named Luke Skywalker, a cloned version of Luke Skywalker. In The Mandalorian Season 3, we see a mini army of Moff Gideon Force-sensitive clones. This was created by Grogu's blood. Now imagine if they had Luke Skywalker's blood. This would lead to Luke Skywalker needing to go into hiding to save the entire galaxy. I think this setup of Grogu having his blood being taken, turned into Force-sensitive clones is definitely for a reason. A well set up plan to explain why Luke Skywalker had to go into hiding. Not because he saw that his nephew had one bad dream and then he tried to kill him, but because something way bigger was going on behind the scenes that the sequel trilogy or The Last Jedi just does not explain. Because let's be honest, it can't just be he was an old hermit who was wrong. Now the third and probably the most important thing that needs explaining is somehow Palpatine returned. Palpatine has always been an evil genius. Throughout the prequel trilogy, the original trilogy, he's been this mastermind behind everything. He set up an entire galaxy-wide war between the Republic and the Separatists where he was the leader of both sides, just to get rid of all the Jedi and take over the entire galaxy. So how do we go from that to somehow he came back? Now you might just say, Mike, it's bad writing, and I agree with you, it's terrible writing, but that doesn't mean it can't be fixed. If in fact they can put into place Palpatine's real plan and show that it was going on in the background through the Mandoverse, through the heir to the Empire, and actually show us again through Ben Solo's fall to the dark side, Palpatine's pull on all the events that go on through the galaxy, that would make The Rise of Skywalker and Palpatine's actual return a million times better. Because right now, the explanation is somehow he returned. And after you do these three things, then and only then have you not only fixed these three extremely important characters from the sequel trilogy in Luke Skywalker, Ben Solo, and Palpatine, but you've also enhanced the entire story of the sequel trilogy, just like the Clone Wars enhanced the prequels or Rogue One enhanced the original trilogy. Because let's be honest, without the Clone Wars, the prequel trilogy is still very good. But you don't know that Anakin Skywalker had an apprentice who left the Jedi Order, which is a huge reason as to why Anakin falls to the dark side in the first place. And without Rogue One, the planet-killing Death Star that was the Empire's biggest superweapon that they put everything into creating was destroyed by one tiny X-Wing. And that just makes no sense until you throw Rogue One into the mix, where there was somebody behind the scenes who put a flaw into the Death Star. But the prequel trilogy and the original trilogy were loved already by fans. The sequel trilogy, on the other hand, has a massive uphill battle to make this whole thing we call the sequel trilogy a whole lot better. So will the sequel trilogy be retconned? Absolutely not. But will the sequel trilogy be fixed? Only time will tell. But tell me what you think in the comment section below. Do you think it's possible to fix the sequel trilogy, or do you think there's just too many problems with this trilogy to ever fix it? Tell me in the comment section below, smash a like on this video, hit subscribe, and hit that bell so you get notified every time I post a video. We go live on this channel every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday, so don't miss out on any of that by hitting that subscribe. And if you want more, go check out this video I just did explaining why Sabine Wren should be able to use the Force.